Hello, Dr. Greg here, and this video is going to be a review of all the exercises and positions that I talked about to keep you safe at home, or actually keep your brain stronger, your spine stronger, and healthier. So I'm just going to go through a review and just explain each one. It actually takes a lot less time to do the exercises than adding the explanation and everything. So first off, we're going to talk about posture in terms of sitting or standing at your workstation. So remember, the shoulders and the arms are supposed to be relaxed. The shoulders are relaxed. They're not like this. And the arms are just bent at the elbows. And your mouse should be right here. And the keyboard should be right here. Now, if you have a laptop, you're going to have to do this, obviously. If you have a computer screen that's separate from the keyboard, it's better to have it at eye level. Okay, so the screen should be at eye level so that your head doesn't have to tilt down. Now, this position is actually awesome to do your work in. You could probably do this for quite some time without any problems with your shoulders, your neck, or whatever. So, but however, if you have to bend forward with your head because of a laptop, there's an exercise you can do. Now I'm standing up, and but you can do this sitting down as well. So I can show you sitting down. Same thing, having the computer up like that is always better, or the computer screen, and the keyboard down here. Now, if you have to look down, there's an exercise you can do that would counteract that. And you're looking down, and then you have a little timer on that goes off in about an hour. You just stop and you go like this, and you hold it for a count of 30. Now, what's really even better than that is if you're like this, sitting down, stand up and do that. That's really cool. 30 seconds, and you can go back. You don't really, if you do that exercise, you don't have to worry about your head being down, because it will counteract the effect of your head drooping down. Now, let's talk about power pose. Power pose is awesome, as I mentioned in another video. Power pose essentially is you want to sort of use your noggin to convince or to teach your brain stem, which is lower down, how to keep your posture proper. So what you want to do is you want to put yourself in sort of like Superman position or mountain pose, whatever, with yoga, but this is power pose. So if I go like this and my body's like this, that's not power pose. My shoulders are drooping forward, my head is forward. My hands, if you see, my hands are sort of, palms are back. So power pose is basically head over your shoulders, not like this, but over your shoulders, right? The neck is back, the shoulders are back, my hands, my palms are facing forward, and I need to hold this position for 2 minutes, just like that. And I recommend that being sort of just, you do that throughout the day, whether you're working at a computer or not. It's a good little exercise to do, and it actually, over time, will actually make your posture better without even thinking about it. So you want your part of your brain that does your posture, that does your muscle tone, that does the pain, modulates all that stuff to work naturally. And the way to do that is to get your higher brain to teach your lower brain how to do the power posture. Okay, so that is sitting, standing posture, working at a computer, the little exercise you could do to counteract bending forward, and then power posture. Now we're going to go towards our eyes, and then I'm going to review the planks. So our eyes, we want to give our eyes a break. So when you're really close to the computer, okay, your eyes accommodate being that close by, make believe these are my eyes. My eyes sort of look in the closer I get to the computer, okay? And the further I get away, they go out. Now, if you're like this 5-6 hours a day, what happens to that part of the brain that makes your eyes do that? It gets stronger, right? So that means when you get further away, it's harder for them to look further out. So what you never want to do is you never want to accentuate one activity, because your brain will get stronger there and it'll actually make the other areas of the brain weaker, and that actually has other consequences in terms of heart rate, blood pressure, all that kind of stuff, because the autonomic nervous system comes from your brainstem, and your brainstem runs your eyes. And the area where the autonomic nervous system is really well controlled is right next to the part that controls your eyes. So when nerves are seated together in your brain, they actually work together. So by making one stronger, you're going to make another one weaker. So we want to make sure that we have balance, okay? So that's where this little dot comes in. Now, the dot needs to be greater than arm's length away, and you could take a dot on a wall, you could use anything, you can use an object. And what you want to do is you want to work on the computer, every half hour have this dot out in the distance from where you're sitting, and just look at it. And sometimes it's better to look at it standing up if you can. And all you're going to do is turn your head 4 times while your eyes remain on that dot. And it has to be further than arm's length away. That's very important. And you're going to just do it every 30, 40 minutes while you're looking at the computer. You stop looking at the computer, you look at the dot, do that little exercise, and you can go back to your computer. It'll help your eyes, it'll help your brain. Now, then I talked about another eye thing about looking at the trees. Now, what's important about that is we know that our brain can see more shades of green than any other color. That's important to understand. So our brain needs to see that, right? So when we're not looking at green, those parts of our brain that really like green starts to weaken. So we want to make sure that it remains strong, because that's evolutionary, how our brains develop. Because we lived in the woods, we had to make sure there wasn't anything hiding in the woods that would hurt our tribe. So we want to be able to see all types of green. Sort of like, these animals are camouflaged. We want to make sure that we can see subtle shades of green. So looking at green, the trees, is really awesome. So what I recommend is try to have your workstation near a window, okay? Where then outside that window is not a building, but maybe a tree. And you have the shades open, and every once in a while, even more than 30 minutes, every 10, 15 minutes, whenever you have a little break, just look at the tree for 15 seconds and just try to see the leaves, and then go back to your work. Now, what's really cool is, if you have time, is when you look at a group of trees, a forest. So you've ever heard the phrase, see the forest before the trees? So what you want to do is have your brain, and you want to have it in the distance, is just look at the trees and look at the leaves and try and pick different colors out. That little exercise will actually help your brain work a lot better and energize your brain so that you become more efficient when you're working on the computer. So now we're down to, we talked about posture, sitting and standing. We talked about the little exercise you could do if you have to bend forward. We talked about power pose, and we talked about our eyes. Now let's talk about planking. Simple. Planking can be done throughout the day. And what I'm going to do is just go review the planking. See if I move this back, kind of move this to the floor. And planking is just what it is. It's a plank, right? It's like a board. So you want to make your body like a board. I like doing it from my hands. You could do it from your elbows if you want. You can even do it from your knees. So let's do it three different ways. So first, hands. And what I'm going to do is my legs go out, and you see that my head's not droopy, my head's not up. It's nice and level with the rest of my spine. Now, I recommend doing it multiple times a day and holding it anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds. If you've never done a plank before, try and do it for 10 seconds, 5 times a day. Eventually, you can get that plank up to a minute. And you could do it up to a minute, maybe 2 to 3 times a day, okay? Now, let's do a couple of varieties of that plank. So it could be
little bit easier. So first off, from your hands, we could do a plank from our knees. That can be effective. We can also do it from our elbows, right? And you can also do a plank on a wall. So before I show you the wall plank, I want to show you the side plank. The side plank is also important because it actually works this side. It gets this side. See, I'm a plank. My head's not droopy like this. It's nice and straight. Nice little plank, okay? Again, you can do that from the elbow. You can also do it like that. So there you go. And let's look at one more plank that you could do standing up if you can't get down on the floor. And you could do this various levels, right? You could do it on the wall, a wall plank, I call them. Oops, let's move this way. Just like that. A wall plank. You could do it on a chair. Let's look at this chair, right? If you want to even make it harder, you could do a chair plank just like that, okay? That's the planking. So now we have forward plank, side plank, computer exercise, eye exercises, okay? Put that all together and you really will help your brain become healthy and your spine to become healthy, reduce any kind of pain, and ensure no injuries. Now, what I want to do, this video got kind of long because there's a lot of information. What I want to do next week is sort of do just an in-home setup on how I work at a computer or whatever. I'm going to go through, without even saying anything, just a little routine that I do to help my spine and brain stay healthy. So until then, this is Dr. Greg, changing the way we look at health.